Wondering how much damage the Trident does in Minecraft? This video is going to explain how to use the Trident, the different attacks, and the enchantments you can put on a Trident to increase the damage. The first thing to mention about the Trident is, unlike other weapons in Minecraft, it can be used as both a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. To use it as a melee weapon, either attack or left click to do the melee damage to players or mobs. The Trident has a base damage as a melee weapon of 9, this is 1 more than an unenchanted netherite sword. The recovery speed for a melee attack is 1.1 attack speed or 0.91 seconds. This is slower than a sword but faster than an axe. To use the Trident as a ranged weapon and throw it, press the use button or right click holding it to charge it. When at full charge, releasing the button, the Trident will be thrown, damaging the entity it hits. Thrown Tridents fly in a ballistic trajectory similar to arrows, except 80% of the strength. A Trident will stick out of a block when it hits it, and with entities it will bounce off, landing on a block. With an unenchanted Trident, every time you throw it, you will have to retrieve it and throw it again. It can be blocked by a shield and bounce off. A Trident thrown in water or lava will not slow down, and the base damage of a ranged attack is 8. This is lower than a crossbow average of 9 and unenchanted bow at a full charge of 9. Let's talk about the enchantments that can increase the amount of damage you can do with the Trident. The first one is the Loyalty enchantment. The enchantment returns the Trident to the player when it is thrown. The maximum level of loyalty is 3. The higher level of loyalty, the quicker the Trident will return to you. Tridents enchanted with loyalty will take fire damage, but can return to a player if in lava. In Java Edition, a Trident thrown into the void will be destroyed. In Bedrock Edition, the Trident will return to you. Also, the Loyalty enchantment is incompatible with the Riptide enchantment. The second enchantment for the Trident is the Channeling enchantment. How the Channeling enchantment works is when a Trident is thrown in a thunderstorm, it will summon a lightning bolt hitting the mob. There has to be a sky access to the mob for it to work. A lightning strike in Minecraft can do 5 damage from lightning and set the mob on fire, increasing the amount of damage it does. However, this enchantment is very impractical as you need a thunderstorm to get the enchantment to work. It also is incompatible with the Riptide enchantment, but not the Loyalty enchantment. The third enchantment is the Impaling enchantment. It increases the amount of damage to aquatic mobs. The aquatic mobs in Minecraft are dolphins, cod, salmon, pufferfish, turtles, squid, tropical fish, guardians, and elder guardians. Impaling does 2.5 damage per level of the enchantment. The maximum level is 5. At level 5 it can do 12.5 extra damage to aquatic mobs. The last enchantment is the Riptide enchantment. How the Riptide enchantment works is when a Trident is thrown in the air, when it is raining or you're in water, the Trident will propel you in the air. This can be used with Elytra to fly when it is raining. You can also take fall damage when you fall from Riptide. The maximum level is 3. The higher the enchantment level, the greater the distance you will go. Riptide is incompatible with Channeling and Loyalty. The way Riptide can do damage is if you collide with mobs, it will do melee damage to them. Also with Riptide there is magical damage. This is splash damage that occurs to a player or mob that are near a player using a Riptide enchantment. The area it affects is a cubic area of 8.25 by 8.25 by 4.25 around the player. Magical damage can stack with the Impaling enchantment and the strength effect to increase the damage to the mob. Let's talk about the critical hit. This is a melee attack performed while falling down and will do 150% of base damage. For example, with a base damage of 9, a critical hit with a Trident could do 13 damage. When a critical hit occurs, star particles will come out of the target. It is performed by jumping up and when coming down hitting the mob. The condition for the critical hit is that you must be falling, not on the ground, not on a ladder or vine, not in water, not affected by the blindness effect, not riding an entity, not moving faster than walking, and the recharge meter has to be above 84.8%. You can do a critical hit with the Trident with a melee attack, or if you're falling and hit a mob when using Riptide. When it comes to the damage you can do with a Trident, there are two things to keep in mind. The first thing is the enchantments. Channeling, Impaling, and Loyalty make Tridents more effective as a weapon. You need Loyalty to use the Trident as a ranged weapon. Impaling makes Trident the best weapon to use against aquatic mobs. Channeling can increase the amount of damage, but it is limited. The second is the type of attacks. Critical hit can be useful for melee attacks. The Trident doesn't do as much damage as other weapons, especially when they're enchanted, but it is a fun weapon to use, and it is the only weapon that you can use that is both a ranged weapon and a melee weapon.